So I suppose you guys, we've done a lot of work over the last year and a bit with this relatively new group of players about trying to understand A, yourself, but B, your teammate, and try to understand and see signs that you might be struggling a little bit, and try to get them, or first of all, I suppose, try to work out what the best way of approaching your mate is, to ask him how he is, I suppose, and what's going on. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I think definitely the things we do in the winter definitely help you to get to know your other teammates, and the more you can get to know them, the more you can sense if something's not right in their life, I suppose. And some people are more open than others to talking about it, but what we can do as teammates or staff is try and be there for them and ask them if they're okay, and then if they want to chat about it, they will. If not, they sometimes have their own coping mechanism.
And I think one of the other things we've tried to do is be less judgmental, more curious. When somebody is acting in a way that is out of his normal type, to try and be curious why that is first. And that's something you've seen this year.
Yeah, for us, we always say as a group, always checking on them first. So obviously, if someone's got an injury, don't go to them and say, "How's the injury?" Ask them how they are as a person. And there'll always be a reason if something's happened in a game and you don't quite understand the full picture behind it. And same with someone in their personal life, you can make a judgment, but it's also you need to find actually what the whole picture is, which I think as a squad and as a group we do really well. We find out how they are as a person first before we relate to anything regarding the sport.
And it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Because we all, especially in this environment where it's so competitive and you're trying to win, we can jump in too much to why is that not happening, as opposed to actually trying to find out why it might be happening and what might be playing out in somebody's life, or how they're coping with maybe just performance anxiety, anything, isn't it?
I think you always have a nice line, don't you? And if you're gonna say something about someone's performance or say something about someone, you better know what's going on behind the scenes. And everyone's living their own journey, their own battles, their own life, and there's often a reason for how people are being. And I think that's just always a nice reminder that everyone's living their own battles and got their own things going on, haven't they? And yeah, it's important not to judge, like you said earlier.
And my experience of mental health is that sometimes, well, we all have our really good periods and not so good periods, but for some people it gets to a tipping point where it stops them being able to function how they really want to function. And I experienced with two players where that really hit them and they had to withdraw from the team and from life a little bit because they couldn't get out of the room and the house and everything. That's where it goes from extreme. And when I'd listen to sometimes them explain about what was happening, I think that's me as well. I do a bit of that. But the difference is when it goes to another level, because I think we all suffer at times with anxiety or mental health. And I know when I'm at my worst, I avoid confronting what is actually the issue, or even just speaking. I don't know whether you two experience that or...
Yeah, I think for me, there's times where you're not particularly happy, or you like just said you're anxious, or you're worried about something down the line which is out of your control. And for me, I would go and sit in a room and just keep myself to myself, and that's not me. I want to get out and about, I want to go and play golf with everyone. Let's go and do my own things, let's go and watch the football. But sometimes when you're struggling, you end up just keeping yourself to yourself in your room. You could be just sat on the PlayStation and just doing that and not actually doing what you'd normally do. For me,
so that counts productive for getting you better, getting back to where you want to be when you withdraw.
Yeah, I think for me, when I withdraw myself, that's all I do. I just keep myself to myself, and I'm not at my best there as a person and even as a player. When you keep yourself to yourself and you almost lock everyone else out. For me, that's when I know I can improve with that. And I know for me, the way I do that is by trying to speak to people. So obviously having Greeny for us as players and as a coaching staff as well. Greeny's been brilliant for all of us, and realising that it is okay to not be okay sometimes, and you're not immune to it as a professional cricketer. Some people might think, you've got the best job, which we have, but sometimes it doesn't always go your way. There might be stuff behind the scenes regarding family members or other stuff in your personal life which people from the outside don't actually see, and until you understand the full picture, you can't make a comment.
Yeah. I had a bad period when the team was going badly and home was quite tough for just normal family issues. I was full. I was fighting on too many different fronts and getting a bit stick from supporters because we were going badly on the pitch. And I remember somebody asking to see me, somebody to help me on the benefit. I thought, God, no. I'm going to get beat up again. Somebody's going to give me some more bad feedback or whatever. I have an opinion on what was on me or what was going on. And he sat me down and he just asked me how it was. And it was like the nicest thing I've ever felt like I'd ever had done. It just felt like I'd had all the air taken out of me. And it was just somebody going out of his way just to literally, all he said to me, how are you? Must have been quite tough. And there was me thinking I was going to say, get some more feedback. So that's my experience of somebody just going literally out of the way just to check in on me. But whether have you ever had anything there before?
No, I think on that, what I would say is you've been around the game slightly longer than me and Dan, but it's definitely a lot better now than when I first started. I think, it was the kind of culture and the mentality of, oh, just crack on, get on with it, don't speak because it makes you weak, don't let anyone inside that armoury of yours. And I think obviously the whole stigma around it just in society has dropped off a little bit as well. But I would say that coaching staff, are closer to players now, and there's a lot more insights during the winter and getting to know each person on an individual level. So the stigma's definitely dropped off a little bit, but I still think clearly there's a long way to go because there still is people fighting battles that we'll never know about.
And it's that speaking up, isn't it? And being brave enough and open enough of environment, being trusting enough that you feel you can. And then sometimes we get too low before we actually do it, isn't it? And it's like ability to say it sooner, I suppose, is the message always to everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that obviously comes with a little bit of safety as well. If you manage to create an environment that people do feel safe within, then that's really important for the leaders of any group out there, not just our cricket team, but any businesses, any other recreational sports on a weekend. If you can create that safe enough environment that people want to speak up and chat to you about it, and that definitely helps, I think.
It's time to talk and help each other out. It's okay to not be okay.
Come on, let's be there for each other.